Hello, my name is Josh Sigman, and welcome back to Impactful Thoughts. I get to be your host today, and joining me today is one of my very best friends, Nikki Salter, who actually had a big hand in the creation of our coaching company behind the scenes and as an investor. And so I got to start by kind of tell you our origin story from my perspective, which is an easy starting point. She's the smartest person in the room, whether you know it or not. And the way I figured this out was about, over a decade ago. I was in a room full of very, very smart mortgage men and ladies, and I had an underwriting issue. And I remember I was sitting in a hotel, and I was told that there's a major issue in a closing. And I called the underwriter, and I was trying to figure it out. She told me the reason why this loan's going to be denied is because of blank. And so I didn't like that answer. I said, okay, I'll call you right back, thinking I'm in a room full of some of the smartest people in the industry. And so, I posed the question to the group, and I had people hemming and hawing, and I did not know Nikki at the time. And literally, after everyone said their witty little replies, Nikki quoted from the handbook, no, 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 you're screwed. The underwriter's right, and here's exactly where you can find it. And I sat there quietly, and I was like, oh my God. And so that's kind of where I remember thinking this person's going to be somebody in my corner for a very, very long time. And we get to work together, we get to play together, we get to travel together in mortgage industry, in coaching,
Yes.
and in personal development and beyond. And so I'm just super excited to be able to interview you for a short time and share your brain with the world today.
Well, thank you.
So I wanted a couple quick questions here. So starting with expectations versus reality of success. So when you started in mortgage, what do you think the price of success would be, and how has the belief evolved?
So, great question. Thank you. And also, it's an honor. Obviously, we've talked a lot, but I love to participate in this with you. Um, so I think when I got into mortgage, I had no idea the price of success. I was just trying to eat, literally. I was trying to learn. I think the difference is when I got into mortgage, I wasn't thinking about the price of success. And I was just trying to get to success. So there was no consideration for what the sacrifices were going to look like. And any sacrifices that did need to be made really weren't sacrifices because they were just part of what I had to do to get to where I wanted to be. So, I mean, if you think about like the hierarchy of needs, that basic foundational level, you don't have, there's like that's the most motivated you'll ever be. Like there's no, you don't have the luxury of like weighing out sacrifices or the cost of things or what's the price of my success going to be. It's literally the ultimate prize, like, is that level of success.
There's like a meme that's like, the crackhead will find their crack some way, shape, or form. Like,
Yeah, like don't let the crackhead outwork you. Yeah, like I'll unhustle you, right? Like, and then obviously the difference between me and the crackhead or you and the crackhead is that we get smarter in our business, and they just continue to work really hard, and we work hard, but like we work smarter as we go, so we get better and bigger results from a more finer intentional input instead of just as much massive input. We can be more intentional with it. It can be more atomic to get a bigger return over time, which is what happens over time, with optimizing and efficiencies and things like that. And then how did it change over time? Well, like number one, now I'm in a season where I am aware of at least, and when I'm coaching, it's not just like, the season that I'm in, but when I'm coaching, I'm aware of the perception of the price of success. I don't know that there's a real price of success unless you sacrifice things that you didn't want to in order because you believe that that's what you have to do to be successful. So I don't know that I
I
believe
think you should
that.
like that's fun to talk about. Okay, so you're right. It's an internal belief system,
Yeah.
right? And uh, I for sure screwed up enough times uh, mansplaining to my wife that I was doing it for the family,
Oh, yeah, you were.
right? Like
It wants us to close more loans. If I do 25 loans, like my son's gonna what? Your son's gonna what?
right.
Nothing. Your son's not gonna anything.
Okay, so then
Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of it. Like it's part of learning. It's part of the journey. It's like I have the benefits of being able to sit from a place of wisdom
mm,
where I see what I see it as a choice. These things are choices. Your priorities are choices. And the choices that you make and the actions that you take on those are what gets you the results, whether it be a big business or a great family or both.
mm,
Like if you are intentional about, like if you say, my fulfillment is not a threat to my success as early as possible, and you believe that and you anchor that, and you say, I will choose fulfillment along with success and along with these measures, and I will do these things, and these are priorities, you will make room for them. But if you don't, because it's easier not to, then you won't. And one time coming home late turns into two, turns into three, turns into four, turns into having to mansplain why you're
late.
in the shit house. Yeah, why you're in the doghouse.
Okay, so it's a our industry, real estate and lending in general. There is a big, I would say, overly emphasized issue as far as balancing the home and workplace, right? Like I would say that a lot of financial services in general, certainly lots of entrepreneurial spaces, that there's a pull and a tug on
Sure.
both sides of, I want to be there for my family, but I gotta make this thing happen.
Yeah.
And so, how would you articulate balancing that? And is there really balance in the first place?
So I think balance is a mirage.
Okay,
I don't believe in balance.
perfect.
So I'm not going to strive for something that I don't believe in. And I like you chase it, you get to it, like you think it looks one way and then you get to it and it's different. And then you like it's the ultimate mirage. But so I don't believe in balance.
So how do you reconcile it then?
So I do well, so here's the piece. So I do believe in priorities though. I do believe in vision. I do believe in being super clear on your priorities and placing intentional boundaries to protect them. And if you believe that your work and your home are conflicting agendas, where, hey, being top at my company is I can't do that and be a great mom, right? Or let me rephrase it. I can't be partner at my company and number one producer and number one in sales and just hustle at work and be a stay at home mom. Okay, well those are conflicting agendas. I can't be a stay at home mom and I can't be that partner, in what I do, right? But those are conflicting agendas. But it's not conflicting agendas that I could be a great mom and also be partner and top producer and all these other things. But number one, I have to see that those are not conflicting agendas.
Mm.
And when I see that, then I can create a plan based on my priorities and boundaries and time blocking and compression of time and all these things and efficiencies and teams and leverage and that we know how to do. Once I believe that it's possible, then I start working toward that goal instead of working toward a goal of, hey, I'm not going to have both of these, so eventually one of these is going to bust and I'm just going to keep going until one of them busts. That's the difference in being intentional versus not. And that is, I believe that's the difference in the people who have what they want out of life as a whole picture, as a
Mm.
whole thing, as a whole ecosystem versus the people who just have one or two things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And actually, so the follow-up question is pretty straightforward. Is there a specific moment in business or personal that you can look back on that was possibly a setback or reshaped how you view business or life at this point, like how you approach it differently?
So there were a lot of tipping points. I will tell you what rocked me the most, and I know like we've been taught be real, share pain. I get that, but that by itself becomes inauthentic if we're trying to look for pain to try to be relatable and authentic. My particular moment was actually a moment of colossal success, and I wasn't ready to receive it. and I shot back, and I've done it over and over and over again until I finally saw it. And I finally saw, what are you doing? And what I realized is that no matter what I did on the outside, if I didn't make myself feel better on the inside, I was never going to be able to keep my hands on it. And that's what happened. And so one of the tipping points, one of the big first ones was, it's not the one that you think, which is the most recent, but it was actually winning LLS, the National Women's
That's what I
Award.
was thinking of.
Was it the one you were saying? Will you smile at me?
The
So,
colossal
I was like,
success, you raised over
I
half a
know.
million or something
And
crazy.
then, like,
600,000.
and then like 2 million the next year is the leadership chair. Nobody talks about that. That was a big one too. I think it was 2 million. It was closer. It was like 1.89 or something.
So for those listening, this has got to be a decade ago.
It was 2018.
So 7 years ago. 7 years ago, she put out this crazy goal of raising over $500,000 in a 10-week period of time.
Yeah.
For a specific charity, Leukemia Lymphoma Society, which dwarfed what anyone had ever done ever we're in San Antonio.
Yeah, even people.
You know, I think 150, maybe 200,000 was the highest ever reached by that point. So she's literally looking to 2x it, 3x it, and she did in 10 weeks. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's what I was smiling about.
And nationally, and I beat the national, nobody had ever raised more in the history of the campaign in any state, man, woman, it didn't matter. And
so the colossal success,
Yeah.
and how do you feel? Like you said, that's the moment. So what is it?
Scared the shit out of me.
Why?
Because everything that I had ever told anybody about what is possible came true.
Huh. Yeah.
And I was like,
Everything's possible.
It's like anything is possible.
Magic is real.
Magic is real. And it literally, and it terrified me because I realized in that moment, it was literally a whisper, you are crazy powerful. And you can literally think things into existence, sweetheart. And it terrified me, and I ran as far as I could from it.
But you said that if you weren't right inside.
No, I say yes. So here's the thing. So when I say I ran away from it.
Okay.
It was like touching fire. It was awesome, but it was like touching fire. I was asked to do podcasts and talks and presentations and all these things, and I said no to most everything.
I know that.
Yeah. And that's okay. It was part of the story, part of the journey. I'm not sorry. I probably would have said something dumb. Who knows? And but as far as being able to hold it, so this, in some of the work that we do, your inner world and your outer world are always fighting to match, right? They're always fighting for equilibrium. And so a lot of times people who feel really bad about themselves inside will then constantly project that outside. You'll see it in their external world. They won't do good things for themselves. They won't take care of themselves. They won't but for me, it was I was fighting. So I didn't feel good about myself inside, and for different reasons, for a host of reasons. And so I was running from it. Right. And so I was achieving. I was achieving because if I could achieve, then if I could shake up the external world enough, it would change my inner world. Right. If I achieved enough, if I raised enough for cancer research, if I raised enough for hurricanes, if I did these things, then eventually, if I weighed a certain amount, if my body fat was a certain amount, it wasn't exclusive to just one thing. Right. If you've watched me and you have, it's always a host of things. Right. If I can do it with no sugar, if I can do it with no alcohol, if I can,
No Amazon,
no online shopping, no social media, whatever, right? Just to make it harder for life. But I would prove my worth. And so I did something that nobody had ever done, and it didn't change how I felt about myself. And I'm like, okay, well, I felt like that sucks. Right. But at the time, what I thought it was that it was just too much for anybody. It wasn't that it was too much for me. It was too much for anybody. Okay, this is too much fire. This is too much actualization of manifestation. I literally, so I'll tell you, I used to listen to a song, like when I would visualize, okay, this is how we're gonna win. This is what it's gonna sound like. This
Oh, I know
fuel
the
is storing
part.
up. Yeah, right. And I would listen to the song, and it was so
The
after.
award ceremony.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
after the award ceremony, when we won, and we go up to this party, because that was one of the things we said, hey, if we're gonna do this, it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna party our balls off, at the penthouse of the hotel, all of this. And we did. And when I went upstairs to the penthouse and I'm like running in and everybody's there, that song was playing like on the speaker, and nobody knew that. Like, I would never have admitted that I used to listen to All I Want to Do Is Win when I was like, now you know the song. But that's what I was, that was playing.
Yeah, magic is real.
Magic is real. And so, like,
So that's not just the words we use, it's the thoughts we use. Okay, so I would argue that most of us deal with some inner demons of some sort, and actually a lot of people in our industry are successful because of it, right?
uh,
So let's talk about, in part, you can argue with that.
no, it's not wrong. It's not wrong.
At least they use it as fuel.
For
We'll
sure.
call it bad fuel.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what are the first couple steps? Because I'm sure that it's super overwhelming. It's like, holy crap! I would imagine that effectively winning the World Series and still feeling bad about yourself. It's like, well, where do I go from here? And I know that we talk a lot about consistency through small actions is how you win.
Yeah.
And so what would be some small steps that anyone listening could do to start moving the needle towards a healthier matchup of internal and external?
Yeah. So I would say micro actions, um, interconnection with yourself. And that, whatever that looks like, that could look like, it sounds silly, but like in a mirror, looking at yourself in the mirror. That was something I noticed, like, wow, I can't look at myself in the mirror. And it's not because like it was just like I couldn't do it. I was uncomfortable and I don't understand why. It wasn't like I was lying to people or I was doing something wrong. I just was running and I knew it. So looking at yourself in the mirror, or like an interconnection, a journaling practice. Journaling is huge for me. It's not for everybody though. So like some people it might be interconnection, some people a journaling practice. I switched in one of the first things I did. I mean, now I hired a million people to help me because that's what I do. I hire coaches, mentors, guides. Like, I don't go alone. Period. I mean, I believe in the power of like modeling the masters and having a guide who's been through what I'm experiencing help me through it. So first and foremost, I would hire somebody. But if I'm talking about like micro things, interconnection work, um, journaling, but I would also like the number one thing would be to ask. I started asking questions and stopped telling myself things. So my inner voice that was telling me things, I started saying, hold on, like, where is that coming from? And why are you saying that? That's not helpful. And I started asking these questions like, where is this coming from? Why can't I look myself in the mirror? Like, why, what is happening? Like, what needs to change? And if I'm not broken, because that wasn't helpful, like thinking like, oh, I'm broken, I want to change. Well, like, I already felt broken. Like, that wasn't going to
I
help.
think you're reminded.
I didn't need to be reminded of it. I didn't need my nose rubbed in it like a dog who, pees on a carpet. Like, I needed somebody to say, "Hey, stop butting your head against the wall over here, honey. Like, let's look over here and let's get to the root of why you're feeling this way. Let's look at your insides and let's work on your inner self-worth so that you can actually hold on to all these things that are in front of you." And that's what made the difference. But if you can afford to, and I think a lot of people who are in this industry can, or make it to where you got to hire somebody.
So what personal development are you personally doing right now? Like,
So
what are you working on?
I'm doing reinvention coaching. I'm a Levin Life certified coach, which is through Nancy Levin's reinvention coaching program. I got turned on to her through another coaching counterpart, and I met her, and I was like, "Oh my God!" like, I have to work with you. We're going to be friends. Like, and she wasn't even taking clients. And I was like, please, you have to take me as a client. It doesn't matter. And she did, thank God. And then I got in her program because I really I wanted something different.
Mm-hmm.
I could, I could, I know business coaching and I could do business coaching and I'm a great business coach, but I needed to work on me and I needed to change like the belief that I needed to do everything for everybody else. And then I needed to shift on to what was important to me. So I'm doing that right now and some additional certifications with her. Like I'm going all the way in her program. It's like 3
Well, that's kind of your MO. Like if you're going to do something, you kind of go all the way.
Go all out.
I would like to point out that that you pursued like you identify first what the issue is, and then you figure out the fast way to fix it.
Yes.
And I do think that a lot of us need to hear that. We tend to avoid the thing that we know would be difficult, but we need to work on it, and we stay in our little, you know, road that's comfortable and easy, and we can go really far.
Yeah.
But if we don't take time to fix the stuff along the way or address the real issues, then it can become overwhelming.
You know what? It's funny for me. Like I look back now and sometimes I wonder because I don't spend too much time thinking about it because I don't care too much. But sometimes I wonder, like, man, what do people watching from the outside think? Do they think like, oh, she's coasting, she's walking a couple of laps, she's this, and it makes me chuckle because you do, but they have no idea how hard it is for me to do that for
Mm-hmm.
myself. It's the hardest thing I've ever done is to stop and to say, no, no, this is just about me for right now. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, and
I got to watch it,
learn and reprogram.
ringside. It was-
Yeah, like it was literally, I was begging my body, my heart, my brain for a different answer. For a different answer. No, I ran the same marathon as all my friends. I want the same medal.
So what you did that was super impressive to me, and I think a lot of us would like to do that in theory, but not in practice, is I got to watch you strip back literally everything in your life as far as your calendar goes.
Yeah.
And the obligations that you felt that you had to my company, to our company, to friendships, to agents, to partnerships, to everything, and decide then what's worth adding back in.
Yes. It's like an
And
elimination diet.
right, and it was a super interesting process to watch. I'm just happy you selected to keep me in your life.
Yes.
I was like, okay, well,
You were.
they're gone, they're gone, they're gone. Okay, I'm left. Okay, this is the.
You might be
I'm
the
next.
thing.
Hey, I think I gotta work really hard to stay in the inner
You might
circle.
be the thing.
So not everyone has hit a. No, I don't want to give them permission to think that. Uh, how do you do that practically earlier
Yes.
without waiting for
Yes.
like that eureka moment?
Yeah.
Like, how do you start deselecting things?
think
Why do we wait?
Everything that I am using language-wise has shifted because I do believe wholeheartedly that you do not have to wait until a certain point
Yep.
or a certain money or don't do it now. Like integrate these practices. If you are on autopilot, if you feel like a hamster. Now, I'm not talking about optimization. Optimization feels like a flow state. That's not what I'm talking about. That's fabulous. That is when you're home at 4. I remember one of the top people in the country, like earner wise, in a different program told me one time that he would leave once or twice a week at 2. And he's like, I just go screw off. And I was like, what do you mean you just go screw off? He's like, I don't know. I go to the movies or I do this. And I was like, no. Is that like, are you for real right now? Like it just blew my mind.
Golf.
And he was like, yeah, I do. I go hang out with my grandkid. I go this, I go see a movie. Sometimes I just don't go do anything. And I like, there's some magic to that. And what he was talking about though was self-care. He wasn't talking about, hey, leave it too and go do whatever. He was talking about do what you need to take care of yourself and make yourself a priority. So I like we look at, and it's hard to explain because sometimes it's just such a small shift, right? Like if you're looking at your morning routine, right? are these things is it also made up of things that you genuinely enjoy doing, right? Or is it just a checklist of more things that you have to get done in the day, right? When you're looking at compression, like opportunities to compress in your calendar, like how can you also at the same time look at putting in more things and getting more out of the things that bring you joy and delegating or using technology or things like that, so that you don't have to do as much of long term. All of these things that you can do along the way. What I did that was the worst thing,
Okay.
the
I'm listening.
the absolute worst thing that might have changed everything. And I'm not regretful of anything. I came here to do this. Like, I believe I came here to learn freedom. Like, I believe that's what I came here to learn. And I couldn't have learned freedom without like all the feel like what chains and attachments are, right? Um, but I used a punisher to motivate me. I would use external ones, I would use internal ones. I would withhold joy on purpose to get myself to move faster.
Hmm.
Like those horses that they beat.
Yeah.
And that's really mean. Like, don't do that. And it sounds
It
simple,
sounds simple. That's why I was laughing. Yep.
but everybody does it. And I know because I work with them and I talk to them and they have their version of it. So you may hear my version of it and go, oh my God, you did what?
Yep.
But like constantly moving the goalpost back
And never celebrating.
and never celebrating. And I'm not talking about partying. I partied along the way, but truly celebrating, like celebration that you feel in your body, that like you squeal and you pick your kids up and like they're excited for you too. And that you feel good about, and that you don't make too much extra meaning. You just celebrate. Right? Like, I am capable. I do what I say I can do. That was why, honestly, hiking the Grand, doing rim to rim was one of my favorite memories of all time because I've celebrated at the top. I celebrated I celebrated afterwards. Like, it was a real celebration. And I obviously like wasn't drinking, so it was like I got to really feel that. And that was me. Like, I did this. I finished something really hard that a lot of people don't even try.
Hmm.
So you got to be super mindful of the fuel that you are using to keep yourself going, whether it's drugs or alcohol, whether it's,
Or any addiction.
any addiction, rage baiting, like emotionally keeping yourself, in highs and lows, using a punisher, we hear that, use the stick or the carrot. Don't do that. Like, that is not, don't make it mean more than that. You don't need that type of ugly motivation and ugly fuel. You need purpose, you need vision, you need a great set of goals, you need running buddies, you need coaches and mentors. Like, it's not super complicated.
Yep.
But the punisher is not the answer. Don't do it.
So I got a question for you. So, what are you going on? You've got to be on year 2, almost 3 of this deep dive.
Yeah, 2.
So 2 years since you hired.
So 3.
Yeah.
So 3 years I
3 years.
started.
Yeah, 3 years you started.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago you hired.
Like, no drinking, like no meds of any sort, no sugar, like no Amazon, all kinds of stuff. That was 3 years
Yep.
ago.
And then
Just
2
like
years ago you hired your
freedom.
coach, and then last year you became the coach.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to equate, like, okay, so that sounds like a lot of work, Nikki. So what is a tangible benefit that's occurred in business
Yeah.
since you put all the work into yourself personally?
That's occurred in my business. So I'm still a little self-judgmental and results based in that. Uh, so, okay, this is probably the best way to say the business piece. One, I only work with people that I like. But that started, like, I had started that as my business was getting like really clean. And I still have, even with like stripping everything down, I'm still a top producer. Like, it's not, I'm not doing as much as I was. But I'm still like producing income, covering my teams. I haven't lost a single person. I haven't fired a single person. I haven't
I mean, that's a big one in this market,
yeah,
in this industry.
no. And in the last well, really even since the pandemic, but even with like this journey, because I didn't want them to have to pay for my journey, right? And I'm lazy. So here's what I do love in my business, a tangible benefit. Because I took everything out and I really did like a sniff test, right, on everything. What do I want in here? What do I not? The things that are going back in, I'm all in on.
So it goes back to the, if it's not a
If it's
hell,
not a hell yes,
it's a hell no.
it's no. Or it's it's not right now. And you can ask me again in a year if you want to. But it's not right now. And so I get the freedom.
I gotta tell you, that by itself, people need to listen to is like just that line of demarcation is like, I feel like, we brushed on the conversation about obligation. You've used that a lot this last year. Is like, I will not be obligated to do anything in my life anymore.
That's right.
And
No
I
more
feel like
shit.
a lot of us
Can't shit
do
on me.
things, show up, answer phone certain times because of obligation. And it's easy to justify why we should
Make
do
excuses.
exactly
Right.
right. So what would be a question that you would ask yourself? So I ask you to blank. I want you to sponsor this thing. What would be a question you would ask yourself before you said yes? Even if normally you'd feel obligated to do so.
I would say, can I get back with you tomorrow?
That's it.
100%.
Create space.
24-hour pause.
24-hour pause.
Yep. What do I need? What do I want? What is this going to get me? What are some trouble that this could cause? What's the root? Am I doing this because I feel like I'm supposed to? Do I feel like I'm going to lose the relationship with this person if I say no? I'm really digging in for 24 hours. And that is my answer to everything. If you ask me to do anything, you're getting at least a 24-hour pause.
It's a tactical pause.
100%.
I love that.
24-hour tactical pause.
All right.
Can I come back with you tomorrow? And you won't even feel it. It's a velvet hammer.
Velvet hammer.
Yeah.
It can still hurt.
You won't even know.
So, all right. So let's talk about you as a coach.
Yeah.
So tell me what you do to help people in our space and in other spaces.
Yeah.
Because I know we'll always be alongside each other in impact, but in a totally different thought process than I think we started.
Yeah.
And so would you tell people how you serve them and what you do to help people?
Yeah. So right now, the work that I'm doing is still like a lot of it is still for me. So what I believe is that when you learn something that you love, you learn it and then you practice it and then you teach it. And then in order to really embody, like you coach it. Right. And
Yep.
so part of my coaching right now is so that I can really fully grasp everything that I'm learning, to fully embody it, to be an absolute purist in my delivery and the coaching container that I create for the people that I'm working with. So I have a limited number that I'm working with. I have a little waiting list. Like I'm like, hey, look at this. I got a little waiting list. It's not crazy delayed, but it's still a little bit. But that's also part of my obligations. I'm protecting my boundaries. And and I'm also like, I want to advance in this area. So what I'm helping people do right now is give them the tools to dismantle these limiting beliefs that are holding them back, to give them a practice to teach them all about it and how it works, and then to dig into theirs. So this completely different, and I love this though. I am in a space where I don't give the answers. I guide the client to their answers instead.
Yep.
And I love it. Like, because their success is not my obligation, it's not my opportunity. I'm empowering them. Like they are empowering themselves. And then they get to leave me feeling like they don't need me.
That they're in control.
Like they are in control and they need themselves. And that doesn't mean that like ongoing they won't want something else that I have, right? But like it's there, and I love that, I'm doing like 8 sessions at a time. So as far as obligations are concerned, I mean, I'm 8 weeks out. Like that's it. And so like as far as cycles are concerned, if I decide, hey, I want a pause, I can do that and I'm not over obligated or have to, inconvenience or change anything around. And it's literally in alignment with what I'm doing. So that's what I'm doing. And then also there's more to it, but that's
I love that.
the gist of it.
So in alignment with impact, we talk about the pyramid of progress. And in the pyramid of progress, you have work-life integration. You've got, all the basics too, right? Like creating leads, the conversion of leads, the team building, the money skills, and the scaling. And I think that what is often missed in many programs is really working on being physically and spiritually and emotionally fit for the fight.
Yeah.
And that is that baseline that we're talking about when you think about work-life integration. What you spoke to is absolutely one of those things that that has been avoided, I think, in conversations. That is not easy to deal with. No one likes to know what monsters under the bed in
Yep.
their own lives. I've been able to start that journey. It is not fun, I'll tell you, and it's very rewarding. And I think it's that is the answer. It's
Yeah.
not fun and it's very rewarding. And so I just gotta tell you, like, for what you do in your space and for all of us, like, and from all of us at Impact, thank you very much. And I'm so excited to see what you do next.
Thank you.
So excited.
Thank you,
So
friend.
thank you so much for joining us here at Impactful Thoughts. For more information about what Nikki does and how she can serve you, please take a look at the link below. But until next time, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am.